So my craft table is actually looking like a jungle at this time. So now I'm going to be adding some bromeliads, and I'm just showing this right now. Actually, the ones I added on my vines, and you can see them up here, they're not attached yet, okay? And that's because I'm going to take them out and then paint everything, and then once they're painted, then I'll attach these to the vines. Since these trees don't have canopies, these bromeliads and the little vegetation that I'm going to add on the vines are what really decorate it. And again, that's a more of scenic value than actual gaming value. The trees themselves are obviously, they can hinder line of sight, they can provide rough ground. If the tree is big enough, you can make a platform, put archers, all that stuff. But right now, I'm just doing a couple of scenic trees for the edges of my jungle table. And to make the bromeliads, I use a mixture of homemade materials, right? Homemade vines. If you haven't seen my video on how I made the vines, how I added the roots to the trees, then check that out. It's on my timeline in Facebook, and you can see how I, get the idea how I added that to the base. But for bromeliads, I take some plastic plants, and again, I bought this at Walmart. This is aquarium decor, and they were like $2. So not too bad. I pluck these out, and I make my individual bromeliads. I put a wire through, you can see the floral wire, and I add a little bit of hot glue there. And then what I do is I actually twist it, okay? So I have the this part here nicely secured. Now I can use this as an anchor point. So in other words, I can put it through my vine here, right? And then twist. But for this one, I'm just gonna do, I'm not going to have it forked. I'm just going to have one long wire that's twisted in, right? And so now I can wrap this up anywhere. I can wrap it up on one of the vines, right? Put it through the holes in one of the vines, like where two vines are twisting with each other. Let me see if I can actually zoom that and give a better idea. There you go. So this is a vine that's two of pieces, right? Kind of intertwined together. And then I stick my wire in there, right? In one of the holes there. And then I'm going to zoom out. There you go. Then it kind of hangs out like that, and I can straighten it a little bit by moving the vine. And it adds some greenery to an otherwise brownish bark, right? And of course this wire gets twisted in, and then I add a little hot glue to make everything temporary. Now I do have these vines, and these have wire that inside the tinfoil, but also wire outside. So these are very durable, and what I do with these, I'll take this one actually. I have all this material on my crafting bench. But what I do with these is I kind of wrap them later on, hook them on to my existing vines, and I kind of do, unite these two trees with it. And there you go. Once it's all together, it looks nice because it's like you have all these crisscrossing vines and everything. But again, that kind of setup is more for the edges of the table where people are not going to be putting their hands over it too much. For the middle of the table, you don't want these pieces because they get in the way of people moving their figures and of course rolling dice and all that stuff. We usually don't roll the dice on our table. We roll it on a separate little table that we have. And at the very end, if I want to add some twine to the trees as well, it'll look like two different kinds of vines that are that the tree is a host to. And that really makes your trees look very, very jungle-like or swamp-like. Okay, so that's it, folks. And I'm going to keep working on this. And here's another little tree here that I'm going to use, a little plant. And I already cut the little bromeliads that are going to go attached to one of the vines here. I'm going to zoom in on that. And there you go. See, so that has to go in after this is painted. And when I'm ready to talk about painting, then I'll show you how I paint tinfoil, because there is a trick to that. All right, folks. Thank you for watching today. This is my subject, my little mini series on trees, jungle trees, for this week that we're going to be talking about trees for your games. Thank you, folks, and I'm going to continue working, and I'll talk to you very soon.